Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel. Peter likes books. Because I do, I love books. And I am stuck in construction traffic right now. They're like apparently paving these two lanes and I need to turn right. So I don't know how I'm gonna get over there. But anyway, so, and then I have a list of errands that I have to run today. And I have not even gotten my coffee yet. It is 1:21 p.m. I got up at 7 a.m. this morning. Well, that's not true. I had a pumpkin cream cold brew at like 7 o'clock, 7:30 this morning. But I haven't gotten my coffee for the day. Here's my cup right here. So I'm gonna go through when I am done running this first errand. I'm trying to like, do you ever like make your errands like run in a row? You know, that's what I'm trying to do. So, I was like, I'm gonna make a Booktube vlog while I'm doing that. And there were a couple different things I was gonna do today. I was actually gonna go to the library and do a library haul, but then I was like, I have all of, because I haven't been to the library since COVID, so I wanted to kind of see how they're doing things there. And then I was like, but I already have so many books at home that I wanna read. Why go and get books out of the library, leave them for other people? So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to turn. I hope it wasn't. Oh, here's somebody going over here. And now they're like looking hesitant, like maybe they're not supposed to turn there. I'm gonna see what other people are doing. And then I was gonna go to the thrift store. I was gonna go to Goodwill. And I was gonna get some books there. I actually want to do a video, and this is kind of how I got the idea for what I was gonna vlog about today. I was gonna do a video where I read a Harlequin novel. So my grandma, the one, if you watch my other channels, so my grandma that went to prison, which I didn't know at the time, I didn't know when I was growing up, I didn't know till after my mom passed away that she went to prison, but it is what it is, it doesn't matter. But anyway, my cousin and I are actually trying to find out like all this stuff about our mom's lives and my grandma and stuff like that. But anyway, I was thinking, I'm gonna do a book, or I'm gonna do a video of like reading a Harlequin novel because I've never read them, and my grandma literally like tore through them. I remember in her bedroom when my cousin Caroline and I would stay there, she had these like, well, sometimes I would stay there by myself and Caroline was there like a lot of the weekends too. But I remember my grandma had this like metal thing. This was like the one thing I wanted after she passed away, and we had it forever. And then my mom was like, I'm throwing this away, it's junk. It was like this metal kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like what you would keep in like towels in your bathroom. But my grandma had it and she would stack like all of her Harlequin novels in there after she would read them, you know? And so I was always like so fascinated with these novels that my grandma read that had these like, you know, people in mid-embrace and stuff in them. They're always like, you know, they're the white with the circle in the middle and all that kind of stuff. But I've never read one. And I remember at the time, my grandma was like, I'd say, because I loved to read when I was a little kid, and she knew that, you know? And I'd be like, Grandma, can I read one of your books? And she'd say, oh, Peter, those books aren't for you. Those are Grandma's, like, I can't remember what she said, special books or something, you know? Like, those aren't for you. But I've heard they're actually pretty tame, you know, in comparison to what I'm sure is out there now. So, but I've never read one, and I wanted to read one. And then I was thinking today, as I started thinking about that, I was thinking about like all of the people in my life. I have all the windows open, including the sunroof, so if it's really loud, I apologize. But I was thinking about all of the people in my life that read and kind of like led me to this point that I'm at today where I love to read, you know? Because I always have loved to read, and it really started for me when I was really young. You know, my dad, if we went on trips, we would stop at a bookstore. Like, before we even went on the trip, we'd stop at like Walden Books. Usually, I think probably in retrospect, because he wanted to get a book for the weekend too, you know? My dad has always been like a voracious reader. Now, he read a lot of fiction when he was in undergrad and in high school. So he's very well read from a fiction point of view. Like all of the classics, you know, and like even Dante's Inferno kind of classics, you know, things that even like a lot of people don't read today. But so he knows all of the literature, but today, and I would say since I was young, he's always read nonfiction. He loves nonfiction. And he'll get like on a topic, and then he'll like read everything about it. Like, my dad has read so much on like world religions, like Islam and things like that, because to understand, you know, politically what's happening in the world, he likes to read, you know, about like world religions and things like that. But then he'll get like very interested in something like the white elephant, and like he'll read all of these like books about the extinct white elephant, or you know, just like he like he loves to read about things like how languages got started. And so he'll read about, you know, like he read this book years ago. He gave it to Alex called The Mother Tongue. And he just gets very interested in certain different kinds of books, you know. Anyway, so this is like a flashing red light and nobody is stopping at it, which is interesting to me. But anyway, so I've always tried to like find him very unique books. Like one year I found this book for him. I don't think he maybe even read it, but it was about this bottle of wine that had been auctioned like over and over and over again. And I think it was like originally like Benjamin Franklin's in France or something like that. It was even older than that. It was called something like the 100-year-old bottle of wine or something. Like he loves really unique nonfiction books like that. But he's always read. And so we would go to like bookstores on the way to going to like our boat in Michigan or to Chicago for the weekend, and he'd say you can get whatever book you want. And I'd always get like those sets of books, you know, like it would be like James and the Giant Peach, and why can't I think of what the author is that wrote those books? You know, but like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory books, Charlie and the Glass Elevator. Why can't I think of who the author is? But I got that set, you know, one year. And then I can remember I used to always get the John Belair sets, which I've started actually reading and listening to again. Like The House with the Clock in Its Walls. That's the one that was made into a movie, but John Belair's has tons and tons of books. So I would get like, you know, those sets, and I just love to read. And then my mom was a big library person her entire life, even up until right before she got sick and was in the hospital. She loved to go to the library, and she could sit at the library forever. My mom was the person that would go to the bookstore, and she would get a cup of coffee, and then she would, like, you know, how a lot of bookstores have coffee places, and then she would sit there for like hours and just read through books. I always see people sitting there at the bookstore like reading through books, and I'm like, or a magazine, and I'm like, what are they doing? And like, that was my mom. She would just sit there for hours and read, and she would read like a whole magazine while she was sitting in the bookstore. I'm like, Mom, you're supposed to buy them. She didn't care. But anyway, we would go to the library, and she would say, you can take out whatever you want, as many books as you want. And I come out with like a stack this high, you know. And my mom would be like, she'd say, Peter, you aren't surely going to read all those books? I'd be like, Mom, yes I am, yes I am, yes I am. I don't know if there's a parking space over here. Oh shoot, you know what? I wanted to go down this alley and come back around. There is one parking space left. People don't know it's a parking space, but it is a parking space actually. So anyway, I just have to run in here real quick. So my mom would say, you know, like you can get anything you want to get from the library, but are you gonna read all those books? Oh yes, Mom, I promise. And I get all these picture books, you know. And so then I would come home, and I just remember spreading them on my bedroom floor, and I'd be so excited that I had all of these books. Okay, listen, I'm gonna run in here really quick. I just have to pick up something, and then I will be right back to finish this video. I'm back. I'm literally out of breath. I like ran in, ran out, ran up, ran out, ran down, rode the elevator up, ran down, and I got outside, and I always like pay the meter, but I knew I was literally gonna be here like, you guys, like 1 minute, and which I was, like literally like 3 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm just gonna run up there today. Because I always overpay the meter, like by several like hours, and I'm just like, let the next person not have to worry about it. Okay, let's cross this off my list. I have 7 things I have to do today. Whew, first thing is done. Mail a couple things out. Next thing, Starbucks. My pink Sharpie makes me so happy. Okay, got that thing done. But anyway, so I was coming across the street, and the meter guy was across the street. And I was like, and he like saw me coming in my car, and he like walked away, and I was like, oh my God, thank God. Or he saw me walking up, and then he walked away. I was like, thank God. Okay, so now I'm gonna go get my coffee at Starbucks, which I am so thirsty for. And let's see. Oh, I was talking about people like loving books and stuff like that. So, you know, then my aunt and uncle, they read when I was growing up, like a lot. Like a lot. They love to read. My uncle always read like mystery thrillers, and I think I probably get that from him. My mom, as she got older, she went back and forth between fiction and nonfiction, but as my mom got older, she really, really enjoyed fiction. Like memoirs and Anne Lamott. I always talk about Anne Lamott because that was like somebody that my mom read that she liked. But like, memoirs about all kinds of different things. But she really, oh Lord, have mercy. she really enjoyed memoirs. So she would read a lot, or books that people gave her and things like that. She'd always find something, you know, kind of, I was gonna say strange, but not really strange. She'd always find things that were kind of, not obscure, but just not what everybody else was reading, you know? And she'd talk about it. She was very interested in things, different things, you know, like an artist's life or something she would read about. And then, so my uncle read a lot of mystery thrillers. That's all he read. And he would read like one after another after another. And he would literally go to the bookstore. Like, he said to me one time, because I would buy him books, and he would say, Peter, I read so many books. Like, he went to the movie theater, like, every day and watched a movie, because he got that, like, you know, when you get over a certain age, you can get in for, like, so cheap. And he did. He went to, like, literally every movie that came out, and then he would read, like, every book that came out. So, you know, when you go to, like, the grocery store, and there's all those books that are, like, you know, the brand new ones out. My uncle had read like literally everyone, but like he loved all of the mystery thrillers and the espionage. Like those are the ones that he loved the most. So I can remember I bought him a couple books one year for Christmas, and he was like so thankful, and I was like, have you read these before or something? Like I think my aunt might have like joked and said, I think he's read that one or something. And I said, oh, Uncle Dave, have you already read those? And he was like, yeah. He said, it's kind of hard. Oh, look at that little dog running through the park over there. How cute. He was like, it's kind of hard to find books that I haven't read. And so after that, I always just got him gift certificates or gift cards to Barnes & Noble, and he loved it. My aunt would read everything. In fact, it was funny because we went out to dinner. I remember this is the day that we got legally married. Alex and I, we went out to dinner with my aunt and uncle that night for our birthdays, because Alex's birthday is the 21st, my birthday is the 29th, and that was the 26th of June. And we went to dinner, and I remember we got talking about books that night or something like that. And so my aunt was saying that how many books that she had read. She goes, Peter, I read a book every single day. I said, Aunt Kathy, you cannot possibly read a book every single day. And she was like, yeah, I do. She's like, on my Kindle. She's like, I'll show you my Kindle. You can go through it. Every single day I read a book. And I was like, well, what do you like to read? She's like, I read everything. Anything that's out, anything that's popular, a thing that somebody recommends to me. And somehow we got talking about John Green and The Fault in Our Stars, and I said something about you probably haven't heard of his books, and she's like, I've read everything by John Green. And it was so funny because I always just kind of thought that she probably read like Danielle Steele and stuff like that, but my aunt was extremely well read. And loved to read a lot of like the Oprah, you know, best books of the month and things like that. And then all of my mom and dad's friends read. My stepmother loved to read. She was the one that got me hooked on like Jackie Collins and Danielle Steele and all that kind of stuff when I was growing up, because she really, really loved it. And so like the very first like book, like I would say kind of like pop culture bestseller book like that I read was Jackie Collins' Lucky is when I like really started reading that stuff. And we were on a vacation, and my stepmom had Danielle Steele Fine Things, and she had Jackie Collins' Lucky, and I read both of those, and I was like obsessed immediately with Lucky Santangelo. So, you know, it's so interesting when we talk about like who like molds us into who we are. And I think about my reading, you know, tastes, and it's like I feel so blessed. I had so many people in my life that loved to read and pass that, you know, love and that passion of reading. Oh my gosh, there's construction all over the place. That passion and that love and that excitement onto me, you know? And like all of my mom's friends always gave me books, more my mom's than my dad's, but you know, they gave me books for anniversaries, birthdays and holidays and things like that, you know? And I just loved reading my whole life. And I guess it's interesting because looking back, I realized I was surrounded by people that also love to read, you know? I remember, if you've ever seen the movie To Kill a Mockingbird, I was just listening to, actually it's called Boo-Hoo. It's on the soundtrack for To Kill a Mockingbird. I was just listening to that. And it's like at the very end of the movie when Scout like is introduced to Boo. I love that scene. And Arthur Radley. And but anyway, in the movie Terms of Endearment, when Deborah Winger and her husband get married, and they have all the books and they're moving into that house, and she goes, can you even imagine like if you married somebody that doesn't love books or something like that? And I used to always think that, you know. Alex isn't much of a reader these days. He used to be when we first started dating. I said to him one time, I said, you totally just did that, you know, because you thought that I liked to read. He's like, no, I love to read. He has, though. He's read like, all of the Augustin Burroughs books, he loves those. He's read, I think he's read one David Sedaris book, all the Chelsea Handler books, the Tucker Max books. He loves the Tucker Max books. It's too windy. But he loves to listen to music. Oh my God, my husband is so into podcasts. I didn't even realize that. Do you like realize something about your partner one day and you're like, you didn't even know it? He and I were talking and I was like, he all of a sudden started talking about podcasts and I go, what podcast do you listen to? And he listens to this whole podcast that is all of them talking about this show. What show is it? It's something, oh, it's about that new show on HBO. It's at Lovecraft County. Is that, or Landmark County? I think it's Lovecraft County. He's like listening to this whole podcast that's all about that show, and he's like infatuated with this podcast. So, like they do like recaps and talk about it. So anyway, I don't know. You know, my best friend loves to read. She probably reads like my aunt does. Tanya reads like 5 or 6 books a week. Like I'll talk to her and she'll be like, oh my God, I read this book last night. It was 600 pages. I'm like, how far did you get? She's like, I read the whole book last night. Just couldn't stop. It was so good. So, you know, like I think when you surround yourself with readers, you're going to have readers around you. Not until I got on BookTube. I mean, I part of the reason why I wanted to get on BookTube and get into the bookish community was because I didn't know that many people anymore that like to talk about the books that I like to read, because nobody in my life they like to read, but they don't like to read the kind of books that I like to read. You know what I mean? Very few people. My friend Erin likes to like read the books. And you know, now I have Mel, and she and I, besides true crime, like our reading types or reading likes are not typical. Like we read different genres, you know, not typical, or not alike. They're different genres. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below about me reading a Harlequin novel and responding to it. I think they're short. You can finish them rather quickly. So let me know what you think about that. I'm going to go in here and get my coffee now. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Love you!